Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, all those people out there keeping it human. I know you are, and I'm trying to do the same thing. So I want to start doing more of these short videos for this Facebook group. So you're in this Facebook, well, it's page really, but it's kind of like a group because you believe in the keeping it human message. And I know that you're out there trying to do the same thing. So I wanted to bring you this video today. It's a question that I'm getting a lot more. I had the same question worded slightly differently 3 times in the last few days. And the question that keeps coming to me is, hey, Kathy, what stories should I be telling? What are the stories that are going to connect with my audience? Well, that's a long answer and a short answer. The good news is today you're going to get the short answer. There is a longer answer. So the short answer is really this. Look at the challenges that your customers are dealing with. What are the challenges? So what is painful for them? What are they trying to do differently? What are their beliefs in the world? A lot of times what ends up happening is you're challenging somebody's belief. Maybe they believe that there's no fix for a certain way of doing business, or that they're stuck with something that doesn't work because they don't know that there's a different way. And they don't know that there's a way to look at things differently that would solve their problem. So your goal is to create content that isn't hitting them between the eyes to sell, sell, sell. I hate that. That's not human. I know you don't like that either. And that's not what you would do, but friends of friends would do it. So find out what their challenges are and figure out how do you create content around that. But here's a really important thing. Don't forget that part of what people care about, people don't exist to buy your stuff. They don't exist to buy my stuff. Nobody wants to write me a check because they want to write me a check. They write me a check because I'm speaking about their business storytelling needs, or I'm helping them with a workshop solve a problem with their team. So I'm solving an issue, but I'm inspiring them too. So think about part of your goal in 3 ways. I want you to think about 3 different things. So part of your goal is to educate. Part of your goal is to inspire. And then part of your goal, yes, is to entertain if you can. There is nothing wrong with remembering that people are human and they have short attention spans, and they want to laugh sometimes, and they want to feel things, and they want emotions, and they don't want just sanitized, boring content. So think about what inspires your audience. Remember, they have lives, real lives, and they want to laugh and have fun and dream big and send their kids to the best colleges, and they worry about their finances just like you do, and all these different things. So they're real people in every aspect of that. And it's not about just buying your stuff or my stuff for that matter, or anybody's stuff. So find ways to think about, what's percolating for them. What is your average customer dealing with? What are the kinds of things that they care about? What are their passions? But you as a company have your passions and your origin story and your values and why you started your company. You can't give that up. Here's an example. If you're Patagonia, you care about the environment. That's your raison d'etre. Without that, that's your big promise, your big brand promise to the world, is that you care about the environment. You don't want to give that up because it coats everything you do, and it inspires everything you do. So it's really important to make sure that that story is in everything. How about environmental, stuff in every aspect of your story? Don't give that up, but find out the things that your customers care about. And it's not just the environment. Maybe they care about responsibility with finances. Maybe they care about, I don't know, but maybe it's they're into sports and extreme sports, and that's why they buy your jackets and your clothing. So find out what kind of things they like and figure out how can we create this really interesting connection between the things that you care about and what they care about, and merge those two. Really interesting thing. So a friend of mine is a coach, and she works with executives, and a lot of her executive clients are like extreme people who do extreme sports, adrenaline junkies, because they're out there doing it, killing it, crushing it, hustling it in every way. And what she found is a high percent of them really like extreme sports like surfing. And so what she started doing is creating content around performance, like performances like surfing, and the top 10 things you need to ride the corporate wave. What's going to put you on top? How are you going to climb that wave? How are you going to ride that wave? And if you can kind of take these metaphors and themes that your audience cares about and relates to and weave them into your content, those kinds of things work. So step back, think about what challenges your customers have, what personal challenges, not just professional, but what personal challenges they may have. Who are they? What do they like? What do they care about in the world? If they care about social causes and they have animals and they love animals, well, how can you weave some of that into your content to speak to things that they personally care about? Those are stories that you could be telling. How are your employees, if you have employees? Not everybody does if you're a small business, but how are your employees doing some really cool stuff? I built a house, a Habitat for Humanity house one time with a whole bunch of Intel employees. That was really cool. They did it as a team that worked together, and what a cool thing to do, that their company gave them time off to go do something community driven. I thought that was really cool. So find out what your employees are doing. Maybe your partners are doing something cool. What are they doing with your stuff, and why do they care about it? Maybe they're doing something really cool. One of my clients works with NASCAR, and some of their products and technology goes into NASCAR. Tell that story about how you're changing NASCAR. So find out, again, employees, your own stuff, your customers, what their needs are. Look at your entire food chain, all the people you touch, all the people involved in running your business and helping you run your business, and see what kind of cool stuff are they doing? How are they changing the world? It's okay. In fact, it's even better if your stuff is removed, because it's not about your stuff. How does your stuff change somebody's life? How does it make it better? And how cool that your stuff goes into a NASCAR, or your stuff enables something really cool. Maybe your technology helps Major League Baseball track their stats. That's a cool story. So figure out where stuff's being used. Look at your whole environment. And remember that it's not about your products and services, and it's not about your products' features and benefits. It's never about that. The story really comes down to how are you and how is the stuff that you do making people's lives better. And if you can tell the stories that inspire people and make them believe that they can do it too, then you've got something. The most important thing, again, you do want to educate people. This is important. You want to inspire them to know that their lives can be different and things can be better. Don't sell them the perfect fictionalized story with a bow. They don't care about that. They want real stories that are real and relatable, and not, Cinderella. And then they got your product and their life was perfect. But no, that's a bunch of BS. They want real, relatable stories. And they do want to be entertained. You don't have to have boring content. What's happening in your world that might be fun and relatable to talk about? So there's all kinds of content. The most important thing, though, find out what your customers care about. So you have the things, again, that you talk about that are important to your company. Think about the things that are important to your customers and see if you can weave those things together. And there's a lot more exercises that I talk about on my website, on the keepingithuman.com website. On the YouTube channel. Yes, it's in my book. I'm not trying to get you to buy the book, but it is a good book, and there's exercises in there that will help you kind of think through what other types of content you can brainstorm for your audience. So I hope that helps. It's a really great question. It's one I get over and over, and great stories are everywhere. Great stories are everywhere. The most important thing, though, is you got to understand where your customers are coming from. What do they care about in their world? What does an average day look like? I mean, what problems are they trying to solve, personal and professional? And don't forget, every big story for your customer has to hit both a professional and a personal level, because the people who are trying to get stuff done in business, they feel risk. They feel their own personal credibility on the line, and you've got to speak to that as well. So if you can find a way to talk to them like human beings, as a whole human being, not just as a rational buyer brain, but as a whole human being with feelings and dreams and hopes and fears, just like you have. That's how you reach a customer, just by being real and relatable and talking about all those different things. And so you might talk about, success stories, talk about failure stories too. What's a time, maybe your company stumbled? It's totally okay. If you have longevity and you've been around for any amount of time, I don't know of a single successful company that doesn't have a misstep or a series of missteps in their history. You can't be successful all the time. Nobody can. Even, Oxygen, I think, only has a 99% approval rating. And that's Oxygen. It's not 100%. So it's okay, because too much oxygen in a room, boom, combustible. So it's okay. Talk about what you learned from mistakes. Talk about mistakes that might be relevant for your audience to hear. Talk about, again, your origin story. Remind people where you came from. Put a spotlight on an employee who's doing some cool stuff. Who's doing maybe something really interesting. Again, your employees, your partners, your customers. If your customer's doing something really cool with your stuff, what better way to highlight that? And let them tell that story in their way. Don't give them a script. Let them tell it their way, in their words, in a really authentic way. So anyway, great stories are everywhere. You just have to know where to look. But the most important thing, as I say, and I'll leave you with this thought, really get to know your ideal customer and design for your ideal customer. Who are they? What do they care about? What's percolating for them, and what are their struggles? And if you can do that and speak to things in a really important way and let them feel like you're having an ongoing conversation, I think that's where it starts. So don't be afraid to inspire. I know people think that their content is just all about the funnel. Forget that. If your content, some of your content anyway, yes, some of it down the funnel needs to close business, but if your content at the beginning of the funnel doesn't inspire people, there's no reason to follow you. There's just too much content out there chasing, I think, a paucity of brain cycles. And pretty much at the end of every day, I feel like there's just too much day left for the end of my brain cycles, because too much is coming at me, when your audience is no different. So don't treat them any differently than you want to be treated. What kinds of content do you like? And really just try to have some empathy for your customer. If you do all that, I think you're going to be in good shape. So it's a great question. And again, what kinds of stories and content should you be creating? And I hope that helps. That's kind of maybe it's not the longest answer, it's not the shortest answer, it's sort of the mid-form answer. I hope that helps. And there's a lot of, I think, great articles on evergreen pieces at keepithuman.com. So you can go there and check that out. All right, everybody, take care, and we will see you on the next one. Bye.